Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome in to WTIM, your information station. My name is Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM morning show. Before we get going with another conversation, let's thank our sponsors that make it possible. People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better at Landmark. We have Chief Deputy Jim Baker of the Christian County Sheriff's Office in the studio with us today. How are you, Chief Deputy?
I'm doing good. Glad to be here this morning.
Thank you so much for being here with us. We have some serious topics to talk about today, and ones that we've been reading some more stories about, and it just hurts a little bit every time we have to read them, Chief Deputy Baker. So I'll let you take it from here. What are we talking about today?
Well, unfortunately, when it comes to law enforcement, we have times where we deal with the victim and the victim's family and the repercussions of a crime. And so what my goal is today is maybe bring to light some parental awareness on a very very sensitive topic, being child and adolescent grooming. The statistics nationally with the FBI shown that not only nationally but even locally, we've seen a large uptick in grooming of children, and that's increased since the COVID pandemic. I think they've seen the opportunity to take advantage of young kids being at home and on social media and just wireless devices in general. Just real quick, some really quick numbers on that. The national numbers show that 1 in 5 or 20% of the children will be sexually solicited by an adult stranger online. And then of those, 9% of them potentially meet in person. And then again, another half of that unfortunately fall victim to a personal contact by a perpetrator. So what I want to do is get out the awareness that there's ultimately best practice. Again, try to prevent it and inform the education from an early age. It shows that once the child is exposed to a perpetrator, a lot of times within the first 24 hours, they're introduced to either sexual contact or sexual content, or they're requested to send a photo, or they receive a photo. So it's that first 24 hours. So there again, we need to go back and cut it off from the very beginning.
Yeah. So we are learning about this right now in these staggering numbers that I'm going to reiterate right now because they are just sickening. 1 in 5 children will be sexually solicited online by a stranger. And Chief Deputy Baker, it just kind of feels like it's the Wild West again of the internet somehow, with artificial intelligence and like COVID expanding more usage online. It's just growing, and it's just something that parents need to be aware of. It can take place in various settings. We were talking about before the show. It's not just texting. Talk to me a little bit about this.
Yeah. So there again, you said it best. Times change with anything, and with all the good that the internet brings, it also brings a negative impact. You could have something where a fundraiser for a hurricane or a natural disaster, and people are going to take advantage of it. Here, this is a daily epidemic of intruding on and trying to violate young kids, children, and adolescents. So we all know that trying to protect our kids, a lot of it used to be that you watched who was babysitting your kid or who your kids was spending the night with, all those things. Nowadays, it's nothing more than, increasing online, perpetrators. They're looking out there, and, it can be a variety of ways, through online, through cell phones, through social media. A big one that people overlook oftentimes is gaming devices. We're seeing a lot of parents come in and say, hey, this person reached out to my kid, and look at what they're asking for. And, there's with online gaming, Xbox, all those things, there's online chatting. Those chatting start out as innocent conversation and oftentimes turns into, trying to keep secrets with the child or the adolescent. And then it eventually progresses to where once they build that rapport and we get the secret thing going on, then you got things where it's across the board where they may take advantage of that, undeveloped child by offering money, gift cards, or, we've seen it in person, providing cell phones for contact. Hey, your mom won't give you a cell phone. Well, what if I got you one? They build that rapport, they keep that secret, and in the end, it's for a very heinous crime against that child. One of the other things that we've seen is they provide the child They build that rapport and then provide them with gaming credits, and just anything to gain their confidence in that connection.
You bring up video games right there, and that's something that probably fly over the heads of a lot of parents right there. It kind of seems like an innocent activity, but that can be the first initial contact with a stranger right there.
Yes.
And easily can go to other online platforms.
Yes.
And you mentioned the meticulous, and I don't want to call it creative. I don't want to give them any credit, but they know what the kids want. It's gaming credits and money, things that they don't have access to. Just another sickening way of taking advantage of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I would like to do is bring awareness in the county. When we're done with that, I'd like to post all the information I can. There's stuff out there from the Attorney General's office, things like that, but I'd like to walk through what I would call the steps in preventing that. So the first one would be that you've got the proactive prevention. And a lot of this, it would be common thought that you want to build that trust with the open line of communications from an early age and educating them on, who and why they're out there. Also make sure to have the conversation with appropriate behavior and boundaries on physical space, to where they feel comfortable talking about, when they might have been potentially violated. So once you get those boundaries in place, we back up to the point where we make sure that they understand there's no secrets with strangers. Those set the stage for building that communication. Once they see that, they need to know that they can always bring that to the parents' attention, and that also that in the event that they fall victim to that, or they find themselves putting that photo out there. And we need to stress that when we put a photo on the internet, it's kind of like a permanent marker. It never goes away. It's there, and they need to know that and explain to them, as they age appropriate, when they learn this, what the results are. And at the end of the day, we need to make sure that they know that, falling victim to it, it's never too late. Once they cross that line that, hey, mom, I done this, I was wrong. Dad, hey, sorry, that it's not their fault, and they need to be reassured that. So that way you do everything you can to protect them. So, and then the other thing I say, the parents need to do their due diligence to look at all the tools that are out there. I mean, when I prepared this presentation, there's, everywhere from the FBI to the Attorney General's office to the state police, there's numerous amounts of information out there. Even when I thought, okay, well, I got all the key points, you're going to find more that we will talk about here coming up about a way to prevent it and ideas. And then, if your child's to the point where they don't have a cell phone, report that to the school. They'll keep an eye out for you.
Absolutely. And thank you for running us through some of those proactive prevention tips right there. And it all starts with the parent, and it's a combination of parent and child. But having that open line of communication, that trust with your child. And you said it best right there. It's not their fault. You need to reward them being honest with you. You brought up something interesting earlier that parents often had to look after. Is the babysitter reputable? Is the sleepover going to be safe? That was a much simpler time back when the pre-internet, when those were the two biggest things you had to worry about. Talk to me a little bit about that change.
Yeah. So, we used to think about personal contact and who we expose our children to. Now we're exposing them to everybody World Wide Web, and we've allowed that to happen. And we can do everything we can to monitor who they're going to, set curfews, that know that they're going to somebody's house. We can talk about those things. But if we overlook something as simple as rolling with the new technology and times, and we put somebody out in front of an Xbox, we need to be vigilant to know that there's somebody on the other end. Potentially, could somebody be on the other end of that looking to groom the child? And, we think, okay, well, that's somebody across the way. These people will go to extravagant or above and beyond tactics to eventually meet in person with that child. So now, instead of us putting, the parent putting that individual into potentially hazard environment unintentionally, an unknown babysitter, or, hey, letting them go stay the night with, a group. Now instead of us doing that, it's one of those things that we're doing it unintentionally by just not doing our part or their part as a parent to basically see what the child's doing online. So the online thing is a big thing, but there again, when we see odd behavior, a child making an evasive hiding motion when we walk in the room, check into that a little bit more. Maybe they've got a cell phone, and maybe the cell phone that they've got is not the one you issued. That's a big thing. It's one of those things that communication is the key, and also doing your part to protect that child.
Going even so far as to buy the child their own cell phone to keep their business even more private. I mean, these offenders will go to great lengths, and Chief Deputy Baker is explaining that to us right now. We're going to learn more about some tips to avoid this and then how to combat this terrible issue that's going across the nation right now. We're speaking right now with Chief Deputy Jim Baker of the Christian County Sheriff's Office. We're taking ourselves a little break. My name is Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM Morning Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Your information station, WTIM.
The Christian County Economic Development Corporation is a not-for-profit organization whose mission is to promote the creation and retention of jobs and to increase the economic tax base through the development, establishment, and expansion of commerce and industry in the Christian County area. I'm Matt Hart, CCEDC's new Executive Director. I'm here to work with existing county employers as well as develop relationships towards creating new jobs in our county. Feel free to reach out to me, Matt Hart, by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Applications for residency are now being accepted at Rolling Meadows Senior Living. Rolling Meadows offers seniors 62 and older a smoke-free facility with round-the-clock maintenance, controlled access, large kitchens with full-size appliances, on-site laundry facilities, complimentary Wi-Fi and common areas, and more. Call 217-287-2450 to schedule an appointment. Rolling Meadows is sponsored by Lutheran Social Services of Illinois and funded through U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and Federal Home Bank of Chicago. Rolling Meadows is an equal housing opportunity provider.
I'm Will Perkins, President and CEO of the Taylorville Community Credit Union. TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group Community Spotlight, allowing a different nonprofit organization to be highlighted on WTIM, WMKR, and WRAN each month.
Hey, what has 7,000 square feet, hundreds of items that are over 100 years old, and over 700 framed pictures on its walls and free admission? Why, the Christian County Coal Mine Museum, that's what. This is Chuck Martin, Executive Director, inviting you to come see what our museum has to offer. Our address is 1324 East Park Street in Taylorville, and our hours are Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or by appointment at 217-526-4408.
This is Cammie Payne, General Manager of the Miller Media Group. We, along with TCCU, are proud to bring you the Community Spotlight each month.
TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group Community Spotlight. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Hi, this is Patrice with Wright's Furniture and Flooring. Have you ever moved to a new house and you thought, I should just sell all my stuff instead of moving it? Well, we are moving warehouses and we share that we would rather sell it than move it sentiment. Now through February 24th, we are offering buy one, get one 50% off MSRP on all in-stock furniture and accessories, plus great deals on Wright sleep mattresses and additional discounts on closeout items. Hurry into Wright's in Taylorville for buy one, get one 50% off MSRP through February 24th.
Taylorville's Bailey Park Adult Community is close to everything. It's a great place to downsize your lifestyle. Find out about available lots at the Bailey Park Adult Community by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
The Shelby County Economic Development Corporation aims to foster, promote, and stimulate economic development. They're here to help your business grow. Find out more on the Shelby County Economic Development Corporation by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back to WTIM, your information station. We are in the midst of the WTIM morning show with Chief Deputy Jim Baker of the Christian County Sheriff's Office. Thanks so much to the sponsors that make this broadcast possible: People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better at Landmark. That first half, we're still going to cover this pretty heavy segment here of child and adolescent grooming. We talked about some of the proactive prevention, some of the things to look out for here. Now we're going to kind of go to the start of the issue with giving your child that cell phone. How should that process work?
Well, like we discussed in the first segment, once you develop that rapport with the child from an early age and setting boundaries and explaining to them those guidelines, when it comes to the point when we make a decision to issue a cell phone, to give a cell phone, or that it's going to be convenient for the family to know when the kid's home from a ball game. Prior to giving that cell phone, I would some of the ideas that somebody may not think of is enter into a contract with that child, have them sign it, draft it up to say, hey, now this is important. It's got my signature, your signature. There's boundaries on it, and if you're going to have something on there, whether that be an app or a login, it's going to be oversight from. If we create an app and a password, it's going to be together, and both people have access to it, the child and the parent. Once we do that, then there's no hidden. We'll talk about some disguising apps here, but once you get that contract signed and you go down that road where they're issuing the phone, keep in mind that another boundary could be, I say, why does a child that you've issued a phone for, a teenager, have the need for a phone in the bedroom at 11, 12 o'clock at night? Charge that phone, have an agreement from the very beginning that the phone at the end of the night, let them get their well-rested sleep that they need for their health, the well-being. A lot of the grooming shows that it happens in late after hours at night. So have a common area, whether that's in the kitchen, if they're sneaking out to get that phone, then put it in the parents' bedrooms. Have a charging station in the bedroom, and that's where the phone goes when it's what I call digital curfew. When you hit that digital curfew, put the phone up. They can have it back in the morning. So there again, once you've issued the phone, you want to keep an eye out for and recognize the warning signs. And some of that would be secret behavior, not disclosing or sharing these passwords. Keep an eye on these apps. When you find a new app that pops up, and there's things out there that the parents need to do their due diligence and find, or be aware of, or keep an eye on what we may post on the sheriff's office app or social media. You've got things like a disguising app that looks like a calculator, and if it's not acting like a calculator, it may be that you put a number sequence in and there's hidden secret photos behind it. There's numerous apps out there. I obviously don't have them all, but I'm just saying, if it doesn't look right, inquire with that child hey, remember this contract agreement? That phone could be taken away. Tell me what this app is. And if that app could be an online chatting or something to that effect, it might be, hey, here's how to get to the next level in a game. Check into it further. So, and then, the parents can set up things like using privacy settings, blocking software, using preventing app downloads. And most importantly, making sure that you're monitoring that phone usage, those items from the cloud. That's where online phones, have it to where you've got a login for their even home computer use. Have it to where you can monitor and look at what they're looking at. Check their digital footprint. And then, there again, no matter how small they think it is, you want to make sure that you're reporting it. If you find suspicious or unwanted activity, you want to report that to the sheriff's office or your local authorities. I mean, we want to communicate with the local police department, contact Ted. I'll say, hey, have you guys had this? Because a parent come to us the other day and pointed out that this may be something small, but it's something for us to monitor and watch. So that way we can definitely, follow up on it.
Absolutely. You mentioned some of the privacy settings. Apple iPhones do it. I'm sure Androids as well. They have really great safety settings that you can apply to phones that can really get parents more interacted with the phone usage of the child there, and to also even downloading apps that can be a password can be set through the cloud that can be owned by the parent right there.
Yes. I remind this. That phone is for a young child or adolescent. That's a privilege. It's not a right, and we need some oversight on it to protect your kids. It's it's not to be a, dictator. It's protection. You really want to protect those kids, and it takes all of us. We just all want to do our part.
Without a doubt. Chief Deputy, thank you so much for covering this topic for us today.
I do want to say, I'm going to post some information on our app and web Facebook page that's tied to the to this topic, and get it out there.
Getting parents involved and aware of the situation is the first step to combating this. And Chief Deputy, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Yep, thank you.
Absolutely. That's Chief Deputy Jim Baker of the Christian County Sheriff's Office. He was here speaking on a tough subject here across Central Illinois and across the nation, child adolescent grooming. It starts with the parents and that child-to-trust relationship. You're going to need it to combat this. My name is Tim Zalabak, your host of the WTIM Morning Show. Thank you all for listening.
Your information station.